The phone buzzed on the nightstand, its screen glowing like a beacon in the dim hotel room. I reached for it, expecting a mundane update from Sarah. Maybe a complaint about her delayed flight or a quick miss you before bed. Instead, her text sliced through me like a blade. Phone died, don't freak out. My thumb hovered over the reply button, confusion knotting my gut. I'd called her just an hour ago, and the line had rung, clear and insistent, echoing faintly in the hotel lobby downstairs. My heart thudded as I typed. Strange, it just rang in the lobby. I hit send, and the silence that followed felt like a scream. Sarah and I had been married 7 years, our love a quiet rhythm of shared glances and late-night talks. She was my anchor, the one who laughed at my terrible puns and held me through the grief of losing my dad. But her job as a consultant meant frequent travel, and lately her trips had stretched longer, her texts shorter. I'd chalked it up to stress, to the grind of her career. Now as I stared at my phone, doubt crept in like damp rot. The hotel was a sleek, modern affair in downtown Chicago, where I'd surprised her for our anniversary. She'd been thrilled when I told her I'd booked a room, promising a weekend of just us. No work, no distractions. But when I arrived that afternoon, she wasn't in our room. A quick call to her phone went unanswered, though it rang through, and I'd wandered to the lobby, half expecting to find her chatting with a colleague. Instead, I'd heard her ringtone, that quirky jazz tune she loved, drifting from a corner near the bar. I'd followed the sound, but it cut off before I could pinpoint it. A glitch, I'd thought. Coincidence. Now her text made my skin prickle. I paced the room, the carpet muffling my steps. The city sparkled beyond the window, indifferent to the storm brewing inside me. Was she lying? Why would her phone die when it had just rung? My mind churned, replaying her recent distance, the way she'd flinched when I touched her shoulder last week, the vague answers about her latest trip to Denver. I wanted to trust her, to believe there was an innocent explanation, but the pieces didn't fit. I grabbed my jacket and headed to the lobby, driven by a need to move, to find something tangible. The bar was crowded, all clinking glasses and forced laughter. I scanned the faces, searching for her dark curls, her familiar silhouette. Nothing. My phone stayed silent, no reply to my text. I ordered a whiskey, the burn grounding me as I sat at a corner table, watching the room like a detective in a bad movie. That's when I saw her. Not Sarah, but her coworker, Mark. He was leaning against the bar, his suit jacket slung over one arm, laughing with a woman whose back was to me. I recognized him from the company Christmas party, charming, a little too slick. Sarah had mentioned him in passing, always with a casual tone, but now his presence here in our hotel felt like a puzzle piece snapping into place. I stood, my legs unsteady, and approached. "Mark," I said, forcing a smile. He turned, his grin faltering for a split second. "Hey, Tom, right?" He extended a hand, but his eyes darted to the woman beside him. She turned and my breath caught. Not Sarah, but close, same build, same dark hair. Relief flooded me, then curdled into suspicion. "Yeah, you seen Sarah tonight?" I kept my tone light, but my pulse hammered. He shrugged too quickly. "Nah, she's probably at some client dinner. You know how she gets." The woman excused herself, and Mark's gaze followed her before snapping back to me. "You're here for the weekend, huh? Sarah mentioned you might show up." "Did she?" My voice was tight. She hadn't known I was coming until yesterday. I left Mark with a nod and returned to the room, my thoughts a tangle of fear and fury. Why was Mark here? Why lie about her phone? I opened my laptop, driven by a reckless impulse, and logged into our shared cloud account. Her calendar was there, meticulous as always. No client dinner tonight. Just a vague entry. Meeting 7 p.m. hotel bar. My chest tightened. I scrolled through her recent photos, hoping for clarity, dreading what I might find. There it was, a selfie from yesterday, her smile bright but strained, the background unmistakably the lobby downstairs. She'd been here, not in Denver. The timestamp mocked me. 8:43 p.m. When she texted me she was stuck in a meeting. I sank onto the bed, the weight of betrayal pressing down. The door clicked open and Sarah stepped in, her face pale, eyes wide when she saw me. "Tom," she said, her voice a fragile thread. "You're early." "Am I?" I held up my phone, her text glaring on the screen. "Your phone died, huh? Funny, it rang just fine an hour ago." She froze, her bag slipping to the floor. I can explain. Then do. My voice cracked, raw with hurt. Because I saw Mark downstairs, Sarah. I saw your calendar. You weren't in Denver. You've been lying. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't deny it. It's not what you think, she whispered, stepping closer. I backed away, the space between us a chasm. Then what is it? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you're not. I couldn't say it, couldn't voice the image of her with someone else. She sank into a chair, hands trembling. I didn't cheat, Tom. I swear. But I've been struggling. Work's been crushing me, and I've felt so alone. Mark, he listened. We talked, that's all. I know I should have told you, but I didn't want to hurt you. Talked. I laughed, bitter and hollow. You lied about where you were. You hid meetings, Sarah. That's not talking. I know, she sobbed, her voice breaking. I got in over my head. I didn't know how to stop without losing you. Her words cut deeper than any confession of infidelity. She hadn't slept with Mark, but she'd given him pieces of herself, pieces I thought were mine. Trust, once shattered, doesn't reform so easily. I wanted to hold her to fix this, but the hurt was too raw, too vast. I trusted you, I said, my voice barely audible. Every late night, every trip, I believed in us. And you let me feel like a fool. She reached for me, but I turned away, grabbing my coat. I need air, I said, the words heavy with finality. I don't know what happens next, Sarah. I don't know if I can do this. As I stepped into the hallway, her sobs followed me, each one a nail in the coffin of what we'd built. The elevator doors closed, and I stared at my reflection, a man unmoored, betrayed not by a single act but by 1,000 small choices. The city waited below, cold and unyielding, and I walked into it, unsure if I was leaving her or chasing the ghost of who we used to be.